Most of us go through life believing we have a pretty good handle on what's real and what isn't. But what I'm about to tell you isn't just another UFO story. It's about the day when everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe was turned upside down. But before we dive in, you're going to want to make sure you're sitting down for this one. Because what happened in room 2118 of the Rayburn House office building would shake the foundations of not just our government, but our entire understanding of reality itself. Picture this. It's July 26, 2023, and the temperature in Washington, D.C. has climbed to a sweltering 92 degrees. But inside room 2118, the temperature isn't the only thing making people sweat. You see, what's about to happen in this room will change the course of history, and not everyone is ready for what's coming. David Grush sits ramrod straight in his chair, every inch the former combat veteran. But here's the thing about Grush. His credentials read like a national security wish list. Bronze Star recipient, former senior intelligence officer for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, member of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. The kind of person who, as they say in the intelligence community, had all the tickets punched. But what makes this particular morning different isn't just who Grush is, it's what he's about to reveal. And trust me, nobody in that room was prepared for what was coming. As Representative Tim Burchett brings down the gavel, something unusual happens. Several members of Congress who normally skip these kinds of hearings are present, leaning forward in their seats. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, a former Air Force officer herself, has a stack of technical documents in front of her. Representative Jared Moskowitz, known for his skepticism, is taking detailed notes. Grush begins his testimony, and immediately you can feel the atmosphere in the room change. I was informed, he states, his voice steady, of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. When pressed about specific details, Grush reveals something that makes even the most hardened skeptics in the room pause. We're not talking about simple debris or mysterious metal alloys, he continues. I was informed of intact and partially intact vehicles of non-human origin. The room falls silent. But that's not even the most shocking part. Because what Grush says next would send ripples through the highest levels of government. These programs are operating outside of congressional oversight and in violation of various treaties and agreements. Now, if you think that's unsettling, wait until you hear what happens next. Because the next witness isn't just any pilot. He's Ryan Graves, a former F-18 pilot with over 3,500 flight hours. But here's what makes Graves different. He's seen these objects not once, not twice, but hundreds of times. Graves leans into the microphone, his expression deadly serious. What we encountered, he begins, defied everything we knew about aviation. He pulls out a technical diagram showing the radar tracks of these objects. We're talking about craft capable of maintaining position in 120-knot winds, at 25,000 feet, for hours on end. No visible means of propulsion, no control surfaces, no exhaust plume. The congressional panel leans forward as Graves displays the technical specifications. These objects demonstrated accelerations of at least 600 grams, he explains. To put that in perspective, our most advanced fighter jets can handle about 9 gams before the pilot loses consciousness. And these objects? They were pulling these maneuvers as casually as you or I would take a Sunday drive. But here's where the story takes an even darker turn. Commander David Fravor takes the stand. And let me tell you something about Fravor. This isn't someone who scares easily. 25 years in the Navy, 18 years as a Top Gun instructor, the kind of pilot other pilots look up to. But what he encountered on November 14, 2004, would challenge everything he thought he knew about aviation. The object was approximately 40 feet long, Fravor testifies, pulling out his own technical diagrams. Smooth, white, shaped like a tic-tac. But here's the thing that still keeps me up at night. It was demonstrating capabilities we can't even begin to comprehend. Fravor then describes something that makes the entire room hold its breath. This object dropped from 28,000 feet to 50 feet in less than a second, he states. Our best radar systems tracked it accelerating at speeds exceeding 24,000 miles per hour in an instant. No sonic boom, No air displacement. No thermal signature. It simply moved. Representative Tim Burchett interrupts, his voice tense. Commander Fravor, are you saying this object demonstrated capabilities that violate our known laws of physics? Fravor's response sends a chill through the room. Sir, what I'm saying is that either our understanding of physics is fundamentally flawed, or we're dealing with technology so advanced it might as well be magic. But here's where our story takes its most disturbing turn yet. Because what Grush reveals next isn't just about strange objects in the sky, it's about a massive, decades-long program that goes to the very heart of our government. These programs, Grush testifies, his voice now barely above a whisper, have been operating since at least the 1930s. He pauses, choosing his words carefully. And they're not just studying these craft, they're actively attempting to reverse engineer them. Representative Luna leans forward. Mr. Grush, are you suggesting that our government has possession of actual non-human technology? What happens next would make even the most hardened conspiracy theorists' jaw drop. Grush pulls out a document, heavily redacted but bearing all the official seals and classifications. I have provided the Intelligence Community Inspector General with specific locations, program names, and individuals involved, he states. But what I can say in this setting is that we're dealing with multiple programs, multiple locations, and technology that, well, let's just say it's beyond our current scientific understanding. But here's the truly chilling part. When asked about the human cost of these programs, Grush's demeanor changes noticeably. I know of individuals who have been harmed or injured in the course of these programs, he testifies. Not just physical harm, we're talking about psychological trauma that defies description. Representative Matt Gaetz, normally known for his skepticism, asks the question everyone's thinking. Are you saying people have been threatened to keep this quiet? Grush's response is immediate and unsettling. Sir, I personally have been targeted with very legitimate threats. But here's what keeps me up at night. I'm not the only one. Now, if you're still with me, you might be thinking this sounds like something out of a science fiction movie. But here's the thing. What happened next would prove this was all too real. In the weeks following the hearing, something unprecedented began to happen. Senator Chuck Schumer introduced legislation demanding full disclosure of all UAP-related programs. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand called for immediate oversight of these rogue programs. But perhaps most significantly, former military officials began coming forward with their own stories. Representative Burchett, speaking to reporters after the hearing, summed it up best. We're either dealing with the biggest cover-up in human history, or we're about to fundamentally rewrite our understanding of humanity's place in the universe. And honestly, I'm not sure which possibility is more terrifying. But here's the part that really makes you think. During the hearing's final moments, Representative Luna asked Grush one last question. Mr. Grush, given everything you've testified to today, what keeps you up at night? His response would send chills down everyone's spine. Congresswoman, what keeps me up isn't what I know. It's what I know I don't know. Because if what I've seen is just the tip of the iceberg, then we're dealing with something far more profound than most people could imagine. As our story draws to a close, I want you to consider something. The next time you look up at the night sky, remember this testimony. Remember the pilots who came forward, risking their careers and reputations. Remember the whistleblower who faced threats and intimidation to bring this information to light. Because here's the thing about truth. It has a way of coming out, no matter how deep it's buried. And in this case, the truth isn't just stranger than fiction. It's stranger than we ever imagined possible. But perhaps the most unsettling aspect of this entire situation isn't what was revealed during the hearing. It's what remains hidden. Because somewhere out there, in classified facilities across our country, there are people who know the full truth. And if what these witnesses are saying is accurate, that truth could change everything we think we know about our place in the universe. Just remember, sometimes the most incredible stories aren't found in movies or books. Sometimes they're happening right now, in plain sight, waiting for someone to connect the dots and tell the world what they've found. Author's note: This story is based on actual testimony given during the July 2023 congressional UAP hearing. While narrative elements have been added for storytelling purposes, the core events, technical specifications, and claims described are drawn from public record. As new information continues to emerge, this story serves as a snapshot of a pivotal moment in our ongoing quest to understand the unknown.